Summer Leagues, Round 1, Act 2. A Sock Full of Nickels. Something happened here last night. Baladeth stood in the plain-looking apartment that had been over the fox's den, the tense air of emptiness looming. A corkboard had been next to a desk, papers pinned haphazardly over the brown surface with red string tied around each pin. The writing on the paper had started with a plan that eventually devolved into absolute madness, the red string eventually ending on one with the writing, "Taking 5, gonna make a sandwich." Gingerly he stepped around the crunched paper balls that had been tossed around on the ground. "Lawrence, can you get one of the scrapped ideas for me?" The floating hands that always followed him gave a mock salute and sped down to one of the crunched paper balls that laid on the ground. With the crinkling of paper, the hands unfolded the sheet to reveal its contents. Nalagram's plan for fighting Quinn 3. This time, for real. The final draft, is what it read. It involved a mariachi band along with several overly detailed sketches of a flame rose spell that was actually pretty well put together upon further analysis. Baladeth would probably have to save that for later. The hands deposited the paper into a nearby waste receptacle, which immediately dissipated the trash with nary a sound or smell. Lawrence floated to another one, this one titled, "No, seriously, this is the one, final draft, fighting Quinn." This one involved a tap dance number, though it seemed that it had been scrapped due to a lack of interest from the dead. Lawrence deposited that one into the waste bin as well. Alright, fuck it, this one is balling. Kick Quinn's ass. Final draft. Baladeth was beginning to notice a theme here. Deciding it was better to just not worry about all of the discarded final drafts that had been left about, he went to investigate the corkboard, which, to his surprise, had nothing really to do with Quinn at all. It had been plastered with Crossroads bylaws, currency exchange rates, lists of known languages, census details, maximum occupancy clauses. Well, it looked like Nalagram had found a project after all. "Lawrence, if you wouldn't mind, could you straighten up here? Save anything that I might find interesting," Baladeth stated as he looked down at the strand of string that didn't end on the corkboard. It ran down to the floor and out the open window of the apartment. "I may have to do some searching," he continued with a sigh as the sounds of fireworks could be heard in the distance. There went the opening ceremonies. The pair of hands gave a thumbs up and began rummaging through the many, many, many discarded pieces of paper that had not made it to the waste bin. Baladeth's form shifted and molded, never away from its humanoid shape, but usually out of the way of various bits and pieces to avoid setting afire. He floated out the window, down to the street, and into the nearby alley where his apprentice lay snoring with a fresh outfit on. Herman floated around next to him, a book in his hands that he had been reading over. At Baladeth's presence, the well-dressed ghost snapped up. "Oh, hey Baladeth! Sorry, didn't see you there." "That is all right, Herman," Baladeth replied with a raised brow. The king of the Hollow Crown looked down at his apprentice to notice 3 cheese sandwiches poking out of his cloak. "What happened here?" "Nalagram said not to knock," the ghost replied. Of course the shitting little bastard said that. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he? "Well, what can you tell me, Herman?" "That the sandwiches are of utmost importance." Baladeth could have probably pieced that together given the storage methods, but it was usually good to verify these things. Baladeth sighed, pinching the bridge of his non-existent nose as he relented. "All right then, I guess store the sandwiches somewhere they won't spoil and meet us at the arena. The tournament is about to start, and since my apprentice hasn't been removed from the premises, I'm assuming he's expected there." Herman gave a mock salute and immediately scooped up the sandwiches that had been sticking out of Nalagram's pocket before flying up and into the apartment window. With the ghost gone, Baladeth looked down at his apprentice who had been snoring like a sawn log. He reached out, grabbed his ankle, and proceeded to drag the unconscious little shit into the street like a sack of yard trimmings. The action didn't even stir Nalagram, let alone wake him. Baladeth knew from experience that he'd sleep from sheer spite alone. Nothing but to deal with it. As he stepped into the street, many passers-by stopped in their tracks to gawk and gasp. Some pointing in horror, others glowering. Be gone from my sight, Baladeth sighed, waving a casual hand at the citizens of the Crossroads. Beware my power, so on and so on. Damn the pageantry of it all. I like Baladeth. I think he's a silly man. I think everything's silly. Silly, silly, Billy, Billy, silly Billy, Billy, silly Billy, 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 silly Billy, 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 Billy. 20 seconds. Need 20 seconds. Let's get it. 20 seconds. I'm gonna.